So after the Greek Golden Age, Athens and Sparta are going to go to war against each other, a civil war in Greece called the Peloponnesian War, which lasts for around 30 years. And our Greek soldier down here, we call our Greek soldiers the hoplites. And they fought in the phalanx formation. So Athens created the Delian League in 477 BCE after the Persian Wars, which led them into a golden age. Athens would dominate other league members and eventually make them pay tribute, a form of tax that a weaker city-state would pay to a stronger city-state. And using the Delian League, Athens would go on to create an empire. But in response, Sparta creates its own alliance, the Peloponnesian League. And we see the end of the Athenian Golden Age come about when Sparta declares war on Athens in 431 BCE, igniting the Peloponnesian War. So on this map, we can see the Delian League led by Athens in that orangey tannish kind of color. And we can see the Peloponnesian League led by Sparta in the purple color. So looking at this map, what's the difference between these two alliances? Where is one located compared to the other? You can answer that in the chat. Think about the difference in the geography of each of these leagues. And you should see that Athens really has control of the sea. They've got league members on all those little small islands around Greece and along the coast of most of the Aegean Sea. Sparta and its allies are mostly landlocked when compared to Athens and their allies. And that's going to play out in this war. Athens, of course, has the strongest navy in all of Greece, while Sparta has the strongest army. But Sparta is landlocked in the middle of the Peloponnesian Peninsula, so that means that Athens can't attack them directly. So instead, Athens attacks the allies of Sparta in the early years of the war. And of course, down here, that picture, we've got a Greek warship. What are those called? Here's your hint. They have 3 rows of oars on each side. We call them triremes. So Sparta advances towards Athens. They get to the countryside and they burn their food supply. Pericles was smart though. He had come up with a plan before this war started to build a wall around the port that led into the city, and it would allow the Athenians to continue to trade with the other city-states and colonies of Greece. A port is where our ships are going to come in, dock, and drop off supplies. The residents of the countryside would seek shelter in Athens, but that would be a problem. You're bringing in lots of people into a small confined place, and what could go wrong? Go ahead and answer that in the comment section, in the chat. So yeah, one of the problems could be disease. That could be a huge problem. Also an increase of crime as supplies are low and more people are there, and a risk of fires. But disease is going to be the main problem that the Athenians face. So we, of course, have the port right here, and it was connected to the rest of Athens here. And that meant when the Spartans tried to cut off the supply line to Athens, they couldn't do so because we had a wall protecting traders from moving from the port to Athens. Once again, our Greek soldiers are called hoplites. So with all of these people living in such tight quarters in the city-state of Athens, it's eventually hit by a plague. This plague kills 1/3 of the population, including Pericles, the Athenian leader. He dies. Historians still don't know what was the cause of this plague. They don't know what disease swept through Athens. They think it could have been typhus, smallpox, measles, or even some strain of Ebola, but we really don't know. What does happen is that Athens signs a truce with Sparta. It's not a peace agreement, but it means that both sides will stop fighting. Athens was not left in good shape, and they really couldn't put an army together to fight against Sparta anymore. This truce created by Athens was really just an opportunity to regain their strength after the plague. And just a little while later, both sides returned to battle. Athens plans to attack Syracuse. Syracuse was a Spartan ally, and they were on the island of Sicily. The Athenians have 20,000 soldiers, but they are crushed during this invasion. The Athenian fleet and army are destroyed. Athens no longer has a fighting force and no longer has a navy that they can push other city-states around with. So here we see the route that the Athenians took on their way to Syracuse. And of course, they stayed close to the coast. They needed to stop and get supplies, including clean drinking water. But eventually this battle would take place here at Syracuse, which is in Sicily, that little island off the coast of Italy. And of course, if you look at the names on this map, you would notice that this map is in German. Athens was very weak, but continued to fight just a little bit longer. But in 404 BCE, Athens and their Delian League allies surrendered to Sparta. So Sparta won, and Athens lost its power, its wealth, and its empire. The historian Thucydides would record the war in his history of the Peloponnesian War. This, of course, is going to leave a path for another conqueror to come through Greece, as the Greeks were beaten down from fighting the Persians and then fighting themselves. And this conqueror will become one of the most famous military leaders of all time.